Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across the USA, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Well, a lot of excitement. I may be hyping. Maybe over-the-top hyperbole. A lot of excitement about Kamala Harris and the CNN town hall last night.
Well, we're excited because it gives us plenty of audio to play.
Yeah, but the audio doesn't go anywhere. I mean, that's the problem. Let's play this audio cut, all right?
Okay. All right.
This one has just gone viral. Here it is.
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
And then we go. Let's go to the analysis from quick analysis from CNN after their debate. This would be from Dana Bash and Jake Tapper.
Focused a lot more on Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say, than she did on many specifics in terms of what she would do.
If her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that.
And she's talking about what people she's talked to inside the Democratic Party.
Right. Yeah.
She didn't close. They weren't happy with it at all. And that's the problem. It doesn't matter. The problem with their campaign is it doesn't matter if she's quiet or if she's talking.
Right.
You still don't learn anything new.
Right.
And now it's to the point where everybody expects the word salad. And since she never answers a question, and if she does sort of answer a question, it's the absurdity that she's trying to sell the American public that she'll build a wall that Donald Trump couldn't build.
Right.
Nobody buys it.
Nobody.
And that's the problem that they have, except for those things that are completely, totally outrageous that nobody buys into. Everything is still word salad.
Yeah.
And then the focus is on the word salad. So it really doesn't matter whether she's out in public or whether she's in the basement. It doesn't matter. In fact, she may be better not saying anything.
Well, no, I think it was a couple of weeks ago that I was saying the best advice is to just quit making any appearances. Don't say anything. Because that was horrible.
And the other problem with it is, if she was doing a debate, people could make a comparison and talk about Trump. When she's on alone, there's nobody else to talk about but her.
Right.
There's no other analysis but her. And it's the same thing. Every time she's on, you see the liberal pundits. We talked, and we're not, look, we understand that MSNBC, it doesn't matter. They're just going to keep BSing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a ton of Democrats that are not. Like David Axelrod. Let's play what he had to say.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city. And she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
So David Axelrod said that. But David Axelrod said that after every time that she's been interviewed.
Yep.
It's the same thing over and over again. It's she's not answering the question. She's not answering the question. She's not answering the question. Oh, okay, she made this statement. She's going to be tougher on border security and build a wall that Trump couldn't build. And she criticizes Trump and saying Trump really didn't want to build the wall and didn't get it done. And she'll get that wall stuff done when that can be easily fact-checked to what she said about the wall before. I mean, it's not believable, and that's the problem that she has.
Yeah, it's It really is it's not a fixable problem. It's the nature of who she is.
Yeah,
and it's not
bizarre.
going to change. It's not coachable.
And I want to play, this is some audio from Fox News yesterday. And Jonathan Turley was being interviewed. And it's about Mike Johnson, speaker, coming out and saying, wow, they edited my answer. That's the problem with doing tape now with any type of mainstream liberal media outlet, especially CBS. We know CBS now has said, we don't give a damn what you think. We're not going to do journalism, and we're proud of it.
Right.
60 Minutes, the reputation that it had, sometimes not totally accurate, but what is viewed as 60 Minutes, the premier journalistic, that's out the window now, and they're blatant about it. We don't give a damn. We're in for Harris, and we'll edit. We'll deceitfully edit.
Yep.
We don't care. We're CBS. Well, here's this part on Fox News where they play part of the two different audios from the answer of Mike Johnson, and then Jonathan Turley comments on it.
I want to play this out. This is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson on Face the Nation over the weekend. It's his own version put up against the unedited version. He's accusing them of deceptively editing here. I want our viewers to watch it and get your reaction out of it, Jonathan.
You know that it is against the law for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. That's established law.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But here's the problem. There's a number of states that are not requiring proof of citizenship when illegals or non-citizens register to vote. We know that's happening.
But respectfully, Speaker,
everybody should want the law to be followed.
You know that it is against the law for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. That's established law.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But here's the problem. There's a number of states that are not requiring proof of citizenship when illegals or non-citizens register to vote. We know that's happening. Look, Glenn Youngkin in Virginia, I was going to say, he issued an executive order to clean up their voting rolls heading into the election. Less than 30 days out, a couple of days ago, the Biden administration, Department of Justice, Biden-Harris administration, sued the governor in the Commonwealth of Virginia to try to prevent them from cleaning up their voter rolls. See, that kind of thing creates a lot of doubt and concern in the minds of a lot of the American people. Why would they do that? Everybody should want the law to be followed.
Concerning when you hear the edited versus the unedited version, Jonathan.
It is, and this is just the latest example of editing concerns about what the media is allowing people to hear. And you have people like Speaker Johnson saying, I just can't agree to anything but a live interview anymore because I'm worried about how they're going to edit it. You have editing on the other side where networks are accused of cleaning up answers, including CBS, for Vice President Harris. And this goes to why trust in the media is at an all-time low. We just had a new survey showing that people don't trust the media, and this fuels that distrust. And it couldn't come at a worse time because we need the media to help us through elections. We need clarity, we need neutrality, we need objectivity. But what they are seeing is advocacy, and so they're turning away from mainstream media. And this is a great example of that.
There you go, Jonathan Turley. Yeah. When you see it, because when you listen to the entire thing, it's like, whoa. But she basically, they edit it, and then she continues the conversation as if it wasn't edited. Right. Because the impression that they give on all these shows is that the whole segment is unedited.
Right.
It's not.
It isn't.
And
if you're on the right, it's going to be edited to make you look bad. If you're on the left, if you're Kamala Harris, they'll edit it to make you look smarter.
Or, as they did with him, he still made a legitimate point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he had an extended point which nailed, put the nails in the coffin by bringing up what had gone on in Virginia in the Department of Justice when this law has been in effect for the longest time to clear up voter rolls of people that aren't supposed to be on it, which has been around for the longest time, and the Department of Justice sues. They didn't want that on the air on CBS.
No, they did not.
Now, if you've been a listener to this show for any length of time, you know we've been telling you that, well, this is they're radical political activists. They're not journalists. And I don't know what's going to change it. I don't believe if Donald Trump wins that it's going to change anything.
No, in fact, I think they're going to think that they didn't do enough of it.
Yeah.
They'll need to do more of that. You and I have talked about this. It's going to be full on if he wins. They're going to come after him with everything they can. I expect the lawfare stuff, type of activity to go after him. It's different with a sitting president, but I think they're going to throw everything they can at him. I wouldn't be shocked at another try at impeachment, for whatever reason.
Well, now that it looks like the House is going to stay Republican, as I saw yesterday, if that happens, that won't happen.
Well, and that's, they wouldn't have that shot until at least the midterm, which is why you got to keep it at the midterm.
Right.
These are all the things, I guess, that nobody's, and you got to get through this one first. But
because of the Democrats, impeachment doesn't mean anything anymore.
That was my whole point. It's for whatever reason, they just, because he's Trump, because he got elected. I don't know, because he won, whatever. It's going to be never ending. It is not, and it's also not a time for celebration because of the fact that so many things are broken that need to be fixed. It's time for the GOP to go to work, including Trump, if he wins. And that's where they are right now, where we are right now as a nation with so many things being broken and needing fixing. I can't imagine that job.
And now play this audio cut. Sean O'Brien responding on Cavuto to Tim Walz, talking about union leaders and the union members that more are not going for Democrats anymore. Here we go.
The bottom line is, how can you be with a guy who wants to bust the unions, not there to make collective bargaining the right, not to make health care there? But that is the cognitive dissonance that I don't quite understand. So you're talking about some of those leaders did not show the courage they needed to. Right. The vast majority of union leaders showed the courage that backed them down.
I think he's saying that you didn't show courage.
Yeah, that's kind of a knucklehead statement. I show courage every single day. Our organization shows courage every day. And to make statements, it's kind of disrespectful to our members and the process. He's talking like an educator, like he is in a classroom teaching a lesson. The lesson that needs to be taught is that our members don't need to be educated. Our members are educated. And that's the problem with this party right now, is they are looking down on our members, saying they need to be educated. What I would do if I was him is actually start talking to our members and find out what the actual problem is. Instead of pointing fingers and looking for excuses, find out what the problem is and create a solution so you gain that support back.
This is just bizarre
it's weird.
From covering politics as long as I've covered it. I mean, it's just like I just shake my head going, what world are we in?
And so much has turned just in recent months.
Yeah.
It's not like we wondered, okay, where will the turn be? But I thought it was going to be like gradual, If you look at the entire span of the political history of this country, a few months is nothing. It's a few ticks on the clock. It's wild how it's turning.
So quickly, yeah. I mean, it really is.
We talk about the woke thing, but let's talk about the awakening.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Because this seems to be, woke, and I hope it holds.
Woke versus awakening.
Exactly.
That's great. I like that.
Where people actually have opened their eyes now. I hope that's the case.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
The benefits of bats. The message behind the annual Bat Week awareness and education campaign.
In the United States and throughout most of North America, bats are well known for their pest control services. They provide pollination services in many tropical countries and many tropical zones of the planet.
Kim Winter of the U.S. Forest Service says the campaign is aptly scheduled the week leading up to Halloween to help break down the scary stereotypes associated with bat species, as well as emphasize the need to protect bats from disease and their habitats from destruction.
We are partnering with different groups in Canada and in Mexico, and we even have groups coming to us from Brazil and as far away as Spain to learn more about this and to participate.
More information about Bat Week activities across the country and the globe are available online at www.batweek.org. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Riley Gaines speaking last night in Georgia.
I hear people saying that they will be voting for Kamala Harris because she is a woman. Well, guess what? I am voting for Donald Trump because I am a woman.
You think about the two most important people over the last couple of years in the United States. And I look at Elon Musk, because you hear him a lot, as people talk about freedom of speech, and him taking over X and doing what he did has made him a target. He had no reason financially to do what he did. None.
In fact, financially, just on the surface, financially, it wasn't a great move.
No, it
because
wasn't.
Most believe he overpaid for X.
But I agree with Jonathan Turley, probably the greatest advocate for free speech in a modern American history by what he did. And Riley Gaines on the radical transgender movement that you and I know people were afraid to touch this issue. For years, they were afraid to do it. I remember you and I talking many times saying, when you talk about marketing of this, it's not going to do any good if it's just men like us talking about it. Women have to take a stand, and we know that they were being bullied and intimidated, but somebody has to take a stand. The women's movement abandoned it completely. They betrayed the women's movement to men.
We fully understood what it would mean if one of the women, especially one directly involved in the sports, was going to take a stand. We knew what that was going to require, and Riley Gaines has lived up to it every single moment. I talk about Donald Trump not flinching. She doesn't flinch either.
No.
And that's beyond courage.
And you can tell the success of her fight from the number of ads that I have seen. I will say this. The majority of Republican ads that I have seen uses that.
Yeah.
The radical transgender movement, as we've said, as a jumping off point for everything else. If they think this way about this, if they deny science, if they impose these rules where men get to define women and a man can be a woman because a man says so, then anything else that comes after it, you've got to question whether there's any critical thinking or connecting the dots.
Exactly.
listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I think I got to find out where I think I saw it from. I think it was National Review that had the article out today that said Americans don't like high prices. It's like, no kidding. It's like,
yeah,
really? You're kidding me? There is more evidence that Americans don't like higher prices. It's like, well. I don't really need any evidence for that. That's just basic economics.
Yeah.
People don't like high prices. But it goes back to, and we had talked about it a couple of weeks ago when it came out in early March, and it was the Heritage Institute. And it was Roy Teixeira, by the way, lifelong Democrat, writes a liberal patriot, now working for the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank.
Right.
But I forgot where he used to work, the liberal think tank. He said there's no home for me anymore because I want to ask questions about where the Democratic Party is going.
And they can't have that. They won't allow that.
They will not allow that.
Right.
So he's out, and the Heritage Foundation said, come on. No, you want to throw out, you want to talk about liberal ideas and promote liberal ideas, come over. We'll have it, and then we'll have the debate on it. Can't do it. And remember, we read the letter that he wrote, or the op-ed piece that he wrote when he left, and I forgot who he was. Was it the Brookings Institute? I can't remember who it was, but whoever it was the liberal think tank. He had to leave because he was questioning the insanity of where the Democrats are going. Now, we've mentioned him many times before, especially over the last couple of months, because when Biden was running, he was saying, along with Douglas Schoen, that in an article that was a couple of articles that were written, that Biden had to become more MAGA. He had to sell he was going to become MAGA. And we had said at that point, well, Biden can't do that. Nobody's going to believe it. But it's exactly where Harris has gone, and they don't believe it.
Right.
Nobody really, really believes that she holds those positions that got her the title Kamaga. They just don't.
Right.
He's also the one. Remember, Roy Teixeira is the one that back, I think it was, 2002, 2003, 2004, was the one who got the Democrats to believe that because of the the demographic shift in this country, that it was going to be hard for Republicans ever to win a federal election again.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And there's been a couple of articles written on it this week, but the whole, Roy Teixeira was the one that came up with that, and I forgot what exact year it was, and saying it shows that Democrats are going to win all the time. And that's the problem when you decide to base your political party on identity politics.
Right.
Because it didn't happen. The shifts with Hispanics is massive. You're starting to see it now with blacks, especially black men that are moving, and it's driving the left crazy. Obama, out there now, you've got MSNBC and Obama calling black men misogynist. No, they just don't want to vote for a woman. They'd rather vote for a white man than a woman. And it's just like, that's what happens when you practice identity politics and not the debate of ideas. Because I have never thought that because of skin color, you should think a certain way.
Right.
You should be able to make your argument on the substance of the ideas and the truth behind those ideas. But Roy Teixeira was part of the Heritage Foundation doing a thing on climate change. Now, we had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but it hit, and I saw it all over the place yesterday, and I thought I would bring it up just in terms of what the Democrats throw out there as being so critically important, which is the whole climate change movement. And what they found out in this survey of people on extreme weather events, most voters have not accepted the apocalyptic reporting found in the media and pushed by climate activists. Most people hold views of trends in extreme weather events that are consistent They do not say that they have personally observed an increase in hurricanes, floods, drought, or tornadoes, which is consistent with the current state of scientific understandings. The exception is heat waves, where the majority report they have observed an increase in such events. They have not actually felt it themselves. And again, heat is interesting because it can be hot. It was hot in Texas last year. It wasn't hot in Texas this year.
Right.
But it might have been hot somewhere else, so everybody's going to experience heat.
Right.
The American voters are reluctant to pay even a small amount to support climate action. And the willingness drops quickly as the proposed small costs increase. Now, listen to this now. It's not like, well, okay, Americans don't want to pay $1,000 a month extra. No, they don't want to do that. No, they don't want to pay $1 extra monthly. When asked if they would support just a $1 monthly fee on their electricity bill to fight climate change, only 47% said that they would, while 44% are opposed. Even at this level, opposition is much greater than support among working-class voters. Yeah, because they make less money. When the proposed fee is increased to $20 a month, overall voter support plummets to 26%. $20 a month. Are you listening, New York? Are you listening, California? Just $20 a month. Overall voter support plummets to 26%, with 60% opposed. At $40 a month to stop climate change, and you figure in order to do it, you got a ton of different bills. Your natural gas bill, right? Your natural gas bill, your electricity bill, what you pay for a vehicle, what you're going to have to pay for an electric vehicle, everything else, which increase the costs. And we know it costs more to produce, a lot more to produce power through alternative sources of energy. At $40 a month, it's 19% in support and 69% in opposition. At $75 a month, it's 15%. For it, they'd be willing to pay it. 72% against. At $100, it's 77% against, 11% for paying more. About 2/3 of Americans think problems are likely. A follow-up question indicates that voters are most worried about the impact on the prices of energy and everyday goods and about the impact on the reliability of the electrical grid. Oh, I should have mentioned that. I said natural gas and natural gas, gasoline, electricity, and everything else that you buy that uses energy to produce it. Everything you buy uses energy.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right.
But 2/3 think problems are coming. Voters are worried most about the impact of prices of energy and everyday goods and about the impact on the reliability of the electrical grid. Voters are most positive about the impact of an energy transition on job opportunities in the energy sector and on air and water quality. So there you go. Overall, the public is much more favorable on both solar and natural gas than wind, suggesting the concept of renewable masks some important differences. Well, I don't know why, because why would they be favorable on solar?
Yeah.
This is where the disconnect comes in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the math is on that.
Yeah. But there you go. The whole point is people don't want an increase in price. They want everything. They don't wish to pay for it.
Well, look, the ultimate question is, do you want the earth to end? And the answer to that is no. Although some days I might ask for a qualifier. that's been basically the point of all of this. If we don't do something now, the Earth is going to end in 10 years. They started saying decades ago. And they keep moving the timeline. And now the timeline is it was 2030. I think now it's moved up to 2035. They keep doing that. And people will answer that ultimate question with, well, no, I don't want the Earth to end. You believe in global warming? You believe in climate change? Yeah. All right, we're asking you to do something about it.
No, you do.
What would that be? Pay more. No. You know, one of the things that is implied with wind and solar is what? We just get it for free. It's the sun. The sun's always there. The wind's always there. The wind will provide. The sun will provide.
No, you got to harness it.
You need an infrastructure. You need to build things. It's more costly. Oh, well, I thought it's from the sun. I thought it was from the wind blowing. You know, the free stuff. You introduce the idea of paying more, and of course people are going to say no. Which is why they get the mandates. Okay, no more building any internal combustion engines in California for OEMs or selling new ones in California after 2035. But that can't sustain. That mandate can't live on in place as it is.
By the way, I saw a poll of what Americans are concerned about. It was a Wall Street Journal poll.
Mm-hmm.
All the list of concerns of people, there's like 25 things.
Mm-hmm.
Climate change, not even on it.
Right.
Not even on it.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, this is more of a complete answer from David Axelrod yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
David Axelrod, as we know, former Obama advisor and everything else, lifelong loyal Democrat, on Harris's performance last night at the town hall meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The things that would concern me is when she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city, and she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking. And so, you know, on certain questions like that, on immigration, I thought she missed an opportunity because she would acknowledge no concerns about any of the administration's policies. And that's a mistake. Sometimes you have to concede things, and she didn't concede much. But I'll tell you something. John King mentioned Bill Clinton. No one's going to be Bill Clinton, but you do want to relate to the people in front of you. She didn't do a lot of that. She didn't ask them questions. She didn't address them particularly. So she was giving set pieces too much.
Wow. Over and over again, Gary, on every level, at every turn, we're hearing those on the left, media and people like Axelrod, basically pointing out that she's not doing anything right. And we're 12 days out.
I think you're right when you said a couple of weeks ago, she needs to just go in the basement.
Go on the campaign, do your rallies or whatever. Don't talk to the media. Don't stand in front of a camera. Don't let anybody ask you any questions. Be done with that part of it.
We're saying that as amateur political consultants.
It's the only advice. If somebody asked me, what advice would you give her?
Right.
Stop talking to the media. Don't talk in front of a camera.
866-90 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's It's Red Eye Radio. I'm Gary McNamara along with Eric Harley. So the question is, what is the daily, it's not just an October surprise anymore, what are the daily multiple October surprises going to be like today?
Right, that the left keeps attempting, it's what's interesting is that I don't think they understand even we say there's no self-awareness on the left, but there's no awareness that, guys, this is the time for a surprise, which means something new. You keep throwing out the same old, he's a fascist, he's Hitler. Well, we've been hearing that for at least 8 years.
You've told us he's Hitler 7,900 times.
Right.
But 7,901 is going to work.
That's right. Oh, this time it's from somebody different.
Right. And since we started calling him it, we are now pro-terrorists.
Right. Yeah.
And we support the terrorists that wish to kill Jews, and you're a Nazi.
That's where they are.
It's bizarre.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.